What happens if you don't have a guardian named for your children and you pass away? Hi, I'm Alec Osland, an attorney at the Yanowitz Law Firm, where we've been assisting families with wills, trusts, and probate for over 3 decades. Let me ask you a tough but important question. If something happened to you today, do you know who would take care of your kids tomorrow? If you haven't named a legal guardian, the reality is you don't have a say. And that can lead to a lot of stress, confusion, and even court battles that can lead to the worst possible outcome. So today, let's talk about what really happens if you don't have a guardian named for your children and how we can make sure that your children are protected no matter what. First off, let's talk about what does a legal guardian even mean? A legal guardian is the person who would step into the shoes to raise your children if you were no longer around, either due to death or incapacity. They're the ones making decisions where your child lives, goes to school, receives health care, and how they're raised. Now here's what surprises a lot of people. If you don't legally name someone, the court's going to decide. It doesn't automatically go to your parents, your siblings, or even your best friend. The judge makes the decision, and they've never even met your friends or family. So, what happens if you don't name a guardian? If no legal guardian is named, the court opens a case and your child may be placed in temporary foster care or with someone the court chooses. Multiple family members might step forward and they may disagree about who should raise your child, or worse, nobody steps in at all. We've seen heartbreaking cases where siblings fight each other in court, or while children are placed with someone the parents never would have chosen simply because there was no plan. And during this entire process, your child is grieving. They've lost you. They've lost a parent. And the last thing they need is legal uncertainty and emotional instability. So, how do we make sure that never happens? We name a guardian in your will. And this is the most common and legally enforceable way to do this, is to name them in your estate planning documents. And just because we named one person, well, life happens. They may not be in the spot where they can take your child, or they may pass away. So we want to make sure that we have a backup also listed who can be guardian of your child if you are no longer able to. With that being said, it is important that you tell the person and make sure that this is something that they are willing to do. Additionally, it's something you want to look at every few years because life happens, things change, so you want to make sure that your documents are updated to make sure that it's still a good fit for your children and the person that you've nominated. It's very important that you work with an attorney to make sure that your documents are done correctly so that your nomination is going to hold up in court. Naming a guardian in a handwritten note or an email is most likely not going to hold up in court, as you're going to want this done the correct way. So here's the bottom line. You don't have to be rich to have an estate plan. You just have to love your kids enough to plan for their future. By naming a guardian now, you're protecting them from uncertainty, potential conflict, and being placed with someone you wouldn't have chosen. You're giving them the stability that they're going to need in a time that's most likely the hardest time they've ever had in their life. Additionally, the peace of mind that you're going to have knowing you've taken care of this, it's priceless. So, if you're ready to start your plan, or even if you're unsure of where to begin, we're here to help. At the Yanowitz Law Firm, we guide families through every step of the estate planning process, including naming the right guardian for your children. So, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to find out when we post a new video, and I'd like to thank you for joining. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.